Hi, this is Kara from the Special Needs Mom podcast.
And this is Angela from Especially Organized, Sensible Solutions for Special Needs Moms.
We have this heart for special needs moms. And so we thought, you know what, let's combine forces. And we have come up with what we're calling the Purge Party. And you can pretty much guess what it is. It's a party where we're going to come together and we're going to purge or, in general, accomplish a goal, a small goal together. So we have set this for January 27th, starting at 8 o'clock for my Pacific Coast people,
which means 11 o'clock for all of you on the East Coast. So this is an opportunity. If you have something on your to-do list that has just been stuck there and you are wanting to move it up on the list, you're wanting to tackle, maybe it's a space or an area of your home or a category in your home that has just needed a little time and attention. This is your opportunity for you to be online with us while you work and have access for us to help you answer your questions, help guide you, and just serve you for those 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you can tell like what we've designed is just this very high level of support for that project that you just haven't been able to tackle on your own. The thing that we are envisioning is that you get to leave this purge party feeling so accomplished because you did the thing. You started the year off getting that thing done that you were stuck on last year. And so it's a momentum builder, if you will. You can go ahead and sign up. We have a link ready for you. And we are offering this for $40 for the whole experience.
Absolutely. And we hope you'll join us. I think it's going to be really fun. It's going to be a great group of moms of special needs kids. So we all get each other. We all have an understanding of what it's like to have something on our to-do list, but just we haven't been able to tackle it yet. So I hope that you will join us. We're super excited to bring this to you, and we are thrilled to work with you.
All right. We'll see you all there. Hi, I'm Kara Riska, life coach, wife, and the mother of 4 incredible and unique kids. It wasn't all that long ago that my son received a diagnosis that had my world come crashing down. I completely lacked the ability to see past the circumstances, which felt impossible, and the dreams I once had for my life and family felt destroyed. Fast forward past many years of surviving and not at all thriving, and you'll see a mom who trusts that she can handle anything that comes her way and has access to the power and grace that once felt so completely lacking. I started the Special Needs Mom podcast to create connection and community with moms who find themselves up against what feels impossible. My intention is to spark the flare of possibility in your own life and rekindle the dreams that you hold impossible now. This isn't a podcast about your special needs child. This is a podcast about you. If you're a mom who feels anxious, alone, or stuck, then you are in the right place. Welcome. Welcome back to the Special Needs Mom podcast. This is going to be our last episode for 2020. We're today going to talk about the concept of celebration and completion. Obviously, you guys have heard of celebration and have definitely heard of the word completion. I think the way that I'm defining it is a little bit of a coaching term. So what do I mean by completion? It means it's done. But what I'm specifically looking at is a way of being that doesn't hold on to any burdensome energy. I want you guys to picture if you have 100 points of energy, you get to use them every day. That if you are holding on to things that happened in the past, things that didn't go how you wanted them to go, aka probably 2020, are kind of holding on to that energy, just maybe thinking about it or just not fully letting go. It's like having 4 points constantly be delegated to that unresolved thing. And so it's like if you have 100 points as your full availability and you're spending 4 on having this not be totally complete, then you only get to go forward using this 96 points instead of 100. So that's kind of the picture that I came up with today about talking about completion and why this is so important. The power of completion is this liberation we get from letting go of something that has maybe some energy and emotion around it. The idea is that we're left unburdened, unpained, and not disempowered. And this can be about ourselves, about something that had happened, about something that didn't happen. And so I want to give you guys 10 questions to kind of go through. This is an exercise that you can actually go through, answer them one after another as a process of completion. So the idea is that at the end of answering these 10 questions, you get to declare yourself complete. So ultimately, it is a choice. We have the choice at the end of the day to continue holding on to something or to let go. I mean, it's as I'm speaking, I'm literally like holding on, or I was pretending to hold on to something with my hand. The actual choice, the cognition in my mind to let go of something actually requires me to actively say, I'm letting go. So that's a choice. And I want you to think of that sometimes when we think about, well, I keep thinking of this thing and it keeps making me upset. Well, that's an opportunity to let it go again. We're going to go through the 10 questions for completion, and I'm probably talk a little bit about each one. I was going to be kind of fancy and say, hey, I'll send you a really pretty list of these questions, but I'm not that fancy right now. And so if you actually want these questions written out, I'm going to have them in the show notes, but you can also send me a quick email or DM me on Instagram and I'll send them on over. Because the idea here is that you're going to want to sit down for, if you're fast, maybe 30 minutes, but I'd say probably an hour. Don't let it stop you if you don't have that full hour. You can do this in parts and pieces, but sit down and actually have this be a journaling exercise that you do. So the first question, number 1, are you ready to be complete with this year? And you might just be like, well, yeah, duh. But really just take a second to say, are you ready to actually go into this process where you might have to actively call it complete? Number 2, what are your current thoughts and feelings about this past year? So this is where you get to just kind of like brain dump, vomit, all the things that happened, that didn't happen. And I was actually thinking, because I'm actually going to be doing this process over the weekend, I'm going away with my husband for our 17th wedding anniversary. We were nuts and we got married on January 3rd. And so we're going to go away and I'm going to be doing this process where we get to kind of just have this time. And the reason I was bringing that up is I think I'm going to bring my my planners. Like I use a very specific planner on how I plan my day. And I'm going to bring all those to kind of go through to even remember like what was happening in January, in February, and March when the world shut down. And just to kind of actually like process, like almost like journey back to look at the whole year, to really bring up anything that comes up on maybe some things that I wanted to happen that didn't, and to really kind of be present to that, especially so that helps with number 3. Item number 3 is, what did you expect 2020 would be like at the beginning of the year? So, I mean, I know for me, I expected it to be a lot different than it was. And so I think the idea is just actually recalling all the thoughts that I had about what it would be and how it was so different. Number 4, I want you to list everything that you have accomplished this year. And this one, at first glance, you might be like, well, I didn't really accomplish anything. I survived. Well, 1, that's an accomplishment, so list that. But I want you to kind of dig a little bit deeper and actually acknowledge the things that you did accomplish. Like maybe you accomplished becoming a distance learning mom. Maybe you accomplished a new relationship with the school that your child attends. Maybe you accomplished staying married. Maybe you accomplished getting divorced. Maybe you accomplished a new level of relationship with yourself. Maybe you accomplished gaining 15 pounds. I have no idea. But these don't necessarily have to be good or bad. But it's just really looking at, what have you done this year? Number 5, where did you get blocked or stopped this year? This is really taking a look at like where you came up to a place and you pulled back and you didn't go any further. Number 6, what seems unfinished or unresolved? Number 7, what are you leaving behind, letting go of, or giving up? This is really moving you into looking at what you are going to actively let go of. This is the process of actually identifying the things that you're going to know you're going to want to hold on to. Like maybe there was a goal that you had, like maybe you had an idea of losing weight this year and you didn't. And so you're leaving behind the weight, not the weight, but like the weight of not achieving that goal. So you actually don't have to bring that into this next year. You not achieving your goal last year has no relationship in you achieving your goal this year. A lot of us think it does. And so we try to bring up the past as we're trying to prepare for our future. And I want you just to consider it actually has no relationship if it doesn't serve you, right? If it is something that serves you, if you're like, well, I lost 50 pounds last year, I'm going to lose another 50 this year. That thought and concept probably serves you pretty well because it's building your belief in who you are, that you are a person that can lose 50 pounds. Apparently weight loss is on my mind today. Number 8, what are the gifts of this year? And I know for me, there are so many gifts. Like I would have never been able to predict that, well, we got a dog. I don't think we would have gotten a dog had it not been for COVID because I knew we wanted a dog. But, 4 kids, I was like, I don't know that I'm ready to take care of another being right now. And it's going to probably be a couple years. My daughter, my youngest is 3.5. And so I'm like, let's just get her more stable until we do that. But because of this year, we thought, you know what? It's the right time. We're going to get a dog right before Christmas, which is going good, by the way. I will say that Sally has brought a lot of joy to our lives and she's getting the potty thing down pretty good, really well, actually. And I absolutely love watching my kids love her and snuggle her. And I'm not going to say torture her because she seems to like it, but let's just say she has a very different touch tolerance than I do. I don't love being touched. I'm very sensitive actually to people like pushing and pulling on me. And Sally is not. She seems to like that. So I've joked with my oldest son that Sally is really helping fill his touch tank as he's like snuggling with her every night. And he looks at me and he says, yes, I think she is. It was adorable for a 13-year-old boy to look at me just so delighted with his little puppy in his arms. Okay. Where are we at? We are at number 9. What is next for you? So this is where we get to kind of look forward and say, what's next? What do I want this year? Number 10. What else would you like to say before you call 2020 complete? This is like the conversation you're going to have with somebody right before they're leaving and you don't know when you're going to see them again. You just want to make sure that nothing goes unsaid. You want to say it all so that when they're gone, when they're done, you have nothing else to say. You don't actually have to go back. You're complete. And it's not really a question, but it's kind of the bonus, the wrap up. And the number 10 point A would be, will you declare yourself complete? You can say yes or no. And if you want to say no still, then go back and do the questions again and see what else is left for you to think about, to process, to maybe let go of before you move on to 2021. And I want to make sure that I know I have a very, black and white mind. I'm a little bit linear sometimes. And so I'm like, well, I have to do this before December 31st or the 1st, because if I don't, then I'm already in the year. Does anybody else think like this? It's kind of funny when I think about it, because I just said I'm doing it actually on the weekend, which is going to be the 2nd and 3rd. But I want to encourage you, even if you don't listen to this episode right away, which is going to be coming out on the 31st. And so if you haven't scheduled an hour in your day on the 31st already to do this process, which you probably haven't, I want you just to find a time in the week that you listen to this episode and to do this process. Because even if it's January 31st, it will really serve you. And it really, at any point, we can go through these questions, move forward. Okay, so let's move on and let's talk about celebration. Now, again, as I said in the intro, celebration is not a new concept, right? We have a birthday celebration, but what I want to kind of put in your minds is our relationships to celebration. Even let's think about birthday, actually. My relationship to celebration was awkward. Let's just talk about birthday. I really wanted to be celebrated on my birthday, but I get very weird about receiving that celebration from other people. I've worked a lot on this and actually I'm much better at it now, but I still am a little weird about celebration. I get to the place of I don't deserve it. I mean, I don't consciously think I don't deserve it, but I have this, I don't know, I just get a little awkward. I know I'm not the only one that's like that. So hopefully you guys can relate to that. But with the idea of celebration, it's so common for us to kind of go for something and then to achieve it or to meet that goal, whether it's something with your child. Just getting to the weekend can sometimes feel like something we need to celebrate or we want to celebrate. And once we get there, we think, oh, I don't need to celebrate it. I got the gift of getting to the weekend. Or I already met the goal. So that's the celebration enough. And sometimes that might be the case, but I really want you to think about how you can truly acknowledge and celebrate who you are and what you're doing in your life. And it doesn't have to be like you buy yourself a new car every time you accomplish something. It can be really small things. And actually just moments where you stop and you acknowledge yourself and you celebrate who you are, who you're being, who you're becoming, who you've had to be to live the life that you have. The moms that I've been talking to, you have to be a mom that is really strong, really, really strong, and really determined, and really committed, and willing to be hit and scratched and bit, not to know when that kind of stuff's going to end. And I really want you to understand that you have the ability to stop and acknowledge yourself for that. Is it going to make everything all better? No, it's going to still be really hard. But the power of acknowledging who you are it's a gift to you, and it's a gift, I believe, to everybody else around you. And so I think I could actually kind of keep going on this, but I wanted this episode to actually be quite short. So I am going to wrap up there, and I'm going to wish you the most fabulous Happy New Year entry into 2021. It's a nice number. I like that. 2021. And I hope that through this quick exercise that you're able to look forward with hope and with acknowledgement of who you are bringing to 2021, of what you've experienced, what you've been through, what you're saying goodbye to, and what you're saying hello to. We'll see you on the next episode. Well, hey moms, one more thing before we end this episode. I know you're coming each with your very own unique circumstances. Some of you might be dealing with a lot of medical needs and hospitalizations and doctor visits. Some of you might just be experiencing worsening explosions and wondering how you are going to continue to navigate this child amongst our society. You might find yourself feeling alone, stuck, scared, frustrated. And gosh, if you're really honest, you might even notice you're feeling resentful of your child, and you're starting to see that resentment seep in those moments that you really wish you could just take back. In my early years, I had no idea how to handle my life, the life that I had as a special needs mom. I had no idea how to process the feelings, and the feelings that I did have that I could identify, I didn't want, and I was definitely not welcoming them in my life. I felt so out of control, and I went to bed night after night feeling so helpless. So as a coach, I have studied and created a process that will help you regain control of your life. It will give you hope and peace. And I have a special offer to all my podcast listeners. I will share with you the Path to Peace process in a one-on-one complimentary session. This hour will be life-changing. Imagine all the insight and inspiration you get from listening to these podcasts and gleaning wisdom from other moms. Imagine taking that to an individual conversation directed fully in your life. Wow. I think back to when I was struggling in my early years, and if somebody were to give this process and information to me, I would be running, not walking to sign up. All you have to do to schedule your session is click on the notes, the show notes for this podcast episode, and you'll see a link where you click on it and you sign up. I can't wait to see you there. One more thing before we officially wrap up this show. Sometimes when I'm listening to podcasts, I have the experience of wanting more. I'm listening at the very end thinking, I sure wish that episode didn't end. I invite you, if you feel in any way the same way, I invite you to the Special Needs Mom podcast community, which is a free group that I host on Facebook, where we as a community of fellow moms who listen to this podcast and are experiencing life in similar shoes, get to talk to one another, get to share stories, get to actually interact. I hope you'll consider joining. See you over there.